Hi, I'm Merryl from My Mystery School. Pluto is big news at the moment. It's been involved in so many of this social upheaval, the huge changes that we've seen in this early part of the 21st century, that it's worth having a look at how Pluto affects us. It's a very slow-moving planet, so it affects generations, with each generation having its own Pluto flavour. Back in 2006, Pluto, who was Lord of the Underworld, was demoted to a dwarf planet. Now, scientists have made new discoveries that fitted in with this classification system. But what does that mean for astrologers? Astrology is a social science. It uses psychology, archetypes and myths, and a kind of storytelling and maths to find how the patterns and the cycles affect each person. We don't look to diagnose. We look to interpret those patterns and the symbols. When a planet is discovered or demoted, it affects that archetypal story. It affects the myth that is part of our collective consciousness. So think about it. What would it be like to be Lord of the Underworld? The underworld is death, secrets, obsessions, addictions, passion. It's corruption. It's all the skeletons in the closet that we try to keep buried. There's a huge power with Pluto, and it's the power to create, regenerate, and destroy. So Pluto is linked to war, passion, wealth, addiction, obsession, viruses, and unavoidable truths. You can't argue with the Lord of Death, and you can never win against Pluto. So Pluto teaches us humility. Pluto teaches us when to bow down. It's a planet of deep transformation, and it forces you to let go. And sometimes this means accepting a death within yourself, a death of a way of life, or something you always thought would be there no matter what. If you can do that, Pluto will always give you treasures from the deep, that wealth that comes from internal sources, inner strength, resilience. When Pluto was demoted, astrologers were aghast. First rule of Pluto, you can't win against Pluto. He's God of the underworld. We move forward 8 years from Pluto's demotion in 2006. We come to July the 14th, 2014. And this is when NASA had sent out its first probe passing over Neptune, being able to have a destination at Pluto, the most farthest reaching planet in our solar system. Those photos that came back on July the 14th, guess what? Pluto has a heart. Who would have thought that from the god of the underworld? Science and myth are totally at one in astrology. So Pluto's heart throws the challenge for the love of power or the power of love that's affecting generations coming through right now in this early part of the 21st century. Right now, Pluto's at the end of Capricorn, grinding up the end of Capricorn interests of finance, business, hierarchies, authority and status. Heaps of other planets have been teaming up with Pluto on this one. So they're very insistent that we undergo a huge transformation in these areas. That push for transformation is truly historic at this time. It's such an amazing time to be living because we are truly in a paradigm shift right now. Because Pluto brings up all the things that have been buried and hidden and corrupted in the underworld, it's natural to feel fear, terror of the unknown, very unsure of your next step. But it's important now that collectively we understand Pluto has a heart, a deep heart, and that deep heart has been guiding us through. Pluto wants love to triumph over hate. Our collective consciousness can't tolerate those divisions anymore. And there's been this surge rising up to correct all those abuses of power, whether those abuses have been to the earth, to animals, or to each other. The deep heart now has been revealed. I'm Merryl Key, and if you'd like an astrology, tarot, or holistic healing, let me know through my website, www.merrylkey.com.